Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Anxiety Chicks podcast. I'm Allison Zepanera,
And I'm Taylor.
and we're back with y'all this week after eating some turkey. Did you eat a lot of turkey?
Not a lot, but okay, might be weird, but I get super weird about texture sometimes. Like if I
Okay.
overthink a meat, I could get
Okay.
weird. And so I had like a weird piece of turkey and it made me just kind of like I had to take a step back, you know? It was a
Oh,
little chewy. It was
no.
a little odd.
Was
And
that
then I
like when
started
you,
imagining the turkey. You know what I mean? Like things started to feel a little too real. So
was that like when you first started eating? Because at least maybe you just ate a little bit before that happened, or no?
yeah. I had a
Okay.
little bit, but then I was just like, okay, time to move on to the next side.
Oh my
Sweet
gosh,
potato
totally.
casserole.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I know how that is. And I'm sure a lot of people watching or listening can relate to that with like the texture of certain foods. Um, I didn't have that experience at all. I was like, give me all of it. The turkey actually I had was so perfectly done. Um, and I don't know if anyone listening are like this, but I love the dark meat, like the bone,
Nope.
actually turkey. Okay, no. Taylor's like shaking
Nope.
her, shaking her head. No,
Not me.
no. Um,
Everybody else does though. Like everybody wants the skin, dark meat, whole shebang. I'm like, I'm good. You guys take it.
the skin. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Nope.
Um, and then I would say there was this whole like debate going on at on things at the table, dinner table with my family. And then I put something on Threads or Instagram, I don't remember, but I put a poll of your best favorite Thanksgiving side. And mine is mashed potatoes. What is yours?
We didn't even have mashed potatoes. Mine is yeah.
What?
Mine is sweet potato casserole.
Oh my gosh, see, we didn't have that. But that is
What?
delicious. No, that
It's
is
so
delicious.
good. My
But there's
dad's
also
is
like a
amazing
southern,
too.
it's like a southern, right? It's like a southern dish, is it? Or
Is
no?
it?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. Um,
I'm gonna
but
actually look that up.
okay, yeah. So no, but it was good. It was awesome. I'm glad you had a good time with your fam, and I'm ready because guess what? It is so crazy how there's so little time between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year.
I
I feel like
know.
I feel like I've like no time. Um, so yeah, we're getting all ready for that. I'm getting ready in my brain mentally for all of that. Anyone who's struggling, listen to the last couple episodes because we talk all about seasonal anxiety and end of the year anxiety, and just go back and check it out. I think it could be really helpful for you. But it is the first week of the month, which means it's our Q&A. So we're really excited to be back here with you. We got some great questions today on our Instagram Live. For those of you who are just joining us or new to the pod, Taylor and I go live on Instagram every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And pretty much we talk a little bit about the episode that week and the topic that week. For our Q&A episodes, we take questions live as they come in. I also put them up on my stories and the Anxiety Chicks Instagram stories, but the Instagram Live is so great because you guys get to get a sneak peek of really what we're talking about that week and in the episode before it comes out on Saturday. So, um, anyway, join us there weekly on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, we have some really good questions today. Do
Yeah,
you want to
really good
start or do you want
ones.
me to start?
I think my first one is great for this time of year because I
Okay.
know a lot of people are feeling this way. Currently, actually sick. How do I not spiral with health anxiety? So I think this also leads into the second question which was how do I deal with a setback? So this is like something that could maybe be a trigger for you. Maybe getting sick is a trigger for your health anxiety. But you have to remind yourself, like, think about every single person you know in this world. At one point or time, we've been sick. Everybody you know, like, do you know a single person who's never been sick?
No. Are you like a
Do you, so
bionic
you know,
person?
like,
No. It doesn't
so
happen.
it's a part of life. It's one of those things that we have to accept, or we could live in a bubble wrap closet, and then maybe you would never get sick. But it's one of those things that like comes with living and life, and how you can make yourself not spiral again is by reminding yourself of those things, because that's what I do when I get sick. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a fever. Like this fever's never going away, never going to go away. And I know you like it's normal to feel that way when you're sick. Like you're like, I'm stuck like this forever. I'm going to die. This fever, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, this is your body fighting this illness. It's making your body stronger because when you're exposed to these things, your body gets an immune system boost to it. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's good to get sick, but it kind of is. Like it really gets your body, your immune system boosted. You want to be able to fight things off. You don't want to live in this like avoidance of germs and bubbles because then you get more sick when you actually do get sick. So just reminding yourself of facts, like that's the best thing I can give you is just like the facts. Like you're gonna get through this one day at a time. Each day you're gonna get better. The first day might suck, but 1 hour at a time. Like you literally just have to take the day 1 hour at a time.
I love that. And I agree. I was going to add to that, and then you said it, which was your body's fighting something, and that's good. You know,
Yeah.
y-
Your body's
y-
working.
your body's working, right? And being able to feel the symptoms of sickness, like a sore throat or something, that means it's fighting something off. Um, and of course, it's really hard what Taylor said to do when you do have health anxiety or really
Mm-hmm.
severe intrusive thoughts when it comes to your health. I've talked about it a lot on the gram and on here when especially with my skin, that's the biggest trigger for me because I have lots of moles and I go to the dermatologist a lot and I just have things coming up with my skin lately. And I'm just like, what's this? What's this? Oh my gosh. What? And so the constant checking, um, I have to, no pun intended, but keep myself in check when when I have the impulse to just check something or Google something. So I'll just add on to that. Do not Google, okay?
No.
Beautiful healer that asked this question. Stay away from Google. Stay away. Okay? That's all I'll add. Okay.
That's but yeah, it's a lot of people. I know you probably a lot of people are sick. A lot of people are getting sick. A lot
Yeah.
of people are sick. It's that time of year.
You guys, we survived a pandemic.
I'll
Okay?
never forget. You and I both got COVID for the first time at the exact same time on opposite sides of the USA. Like that's crazy.
When everybody's I mean, we
If
survived
you've
COVID.
made it through
If
COVID,
anything.
you can make it through anything.
If anything, that's like what I say. Like I survived COVID. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't recall this person's exact question on the live, but there was someone, and maybe you do. Someone asked about codependency and feeling anxious in a relationship and what to do if you feel like either you're codependent or your partner is, or both of you are. And that contributes to your anxiety. And so, for anyone that doesn't really know what that means, because I'm curious, Taylor, do you know what that means? Like to be codependent?
Codependency?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
if
Tell
yeah.
me, yeah. Tell me what your
So your happiness depends on your relationship with someone. Your mood depends on your relationship with someone. Like they can alter how you like. You're not yourself. You have to have that other person for functioning.
100%. Oh my gosh, I love that last part, that other person for functioning. And yes, and so your emotional stability and your choices in life all reflect and depend on what the other person's going to think of you or what they want to do, and you don't necessarily have any independence. And so codependence can happen a lot when you do have an anxious attachment style, because anyone that's anxiously attached, they're so scared of abandonment and being abandoned. So I would say definitely work on an anxious attachment style, learning about attachment theory, and learning how you can become more secure with yourself and more secure. And if you're not in a relationship yet and you feel like you have an anxious attachment style, you might be susceptible to being in a codependent relationship. So I would highly suggest working on finding a secure attachment with yourself before you even get into a relationship, which means figuring out how to, like, doing the work of really loving who you are, being aware of your triggers, being aware of thoughts that you have with relationships, and maybe reflecting on the history of relationships with you and your parents and all of that and other relationships. Um, and that will help you avoid getting in a codependent relationship. So what we really want when you get into a relationship is interdependence, which means you both have a love for each other, and you recognize that you don't need so much from your partner. You're not dependent on them for affirmations, or if you think of like the love languages, right? Like everyone has different love languages, but you can't be dependent on your partner to be everything to fulfill all of your needs. That is an impossible task for any human being, right? So you want to try and be secure with a lot of your own choices and with anything that you struggle with, and learn how to love parts of that and how to communicate that with your partner without having to tell them that they need to be by your side every single moment, and they need to say all these things to you all the time. I think we have an episode that could be really good. It's episode 75. Just wrote it down. That we did with a special guest. Her name is, wait, I have it here. Julie Manano. She was amazing. She's really good on Instagram too, you guys. It's how to feel more secure in a relationship. And I think that it's like to feel less anxious and more secure in a relationship will help you avoid becoming codependent. So listen to that, episode 75.
Nice. Have you ever been codependent?
Totally. I also think that my parents or my mom at least was very codependent on my father, very much. And I found myself becoming that way, but I'm not in those relationships anymore. I think because I knew that that wasn't healthy for me, and I pretty much pushed. I mean, it wasn't my fault, but and if you go back, you can listen to, gosh, how many years of the boyfriends I had. I talk about them all the time, my ex-boyfriends, but I don't necessarily think they were securely attached either. I think they had work they needed to do.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, but we both definitely had some type of codependency with needs that we weren't able to fulfill for each other. And we needed to work on those things for ourselves first. So I think right now I'm at a great place to, and feeling really more secure with, and I have like dating updates too, but we'll do that maybe another episode.
Ooh.
Yes. No,
Okay.
not ooh, but okay.
No, oh, so not good.
No,
Just good or bad? Give us that. Come on, I need to know.
It's not good or bad. It just is.
Okay.
But it's just like
It just
eye roll.
is.
It's eye
Oh,
roll.
eye roll. Oh,
Yes,
okay. We need
it's
an episode
not.
on
It's
this.
not. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. No, it's eye roll of dating.
We
Okay.
need an episode. All right.
Yeah. All right, go on.
So next question. This is actually a good one. Always looking for problems with my health because it seems too good to be true. Do you? There's got to be some like name for this, but I relate to this so much. I remember just feeling like I was always searching for an answer of something. And I think that is very common when you struggle with OCD or health anxiety, because you feel like it can't just be anxiety. You feel like it can't just be nothing. Like there has to be something you have to be worrying about. There has to be something you have to be focused on. I'm the type of person who, when I'm bored, I create projects, and I think that that's bad. So when I struggle with health anxiety or OCD and I'm focused on that, I'm going to create a project where I'm going to look for a reason of why I'm dealing with this symptom, when it's like, you've been checked out, you've been told it's anxiety. You're just looking for an answer because you can't accept the answer is just anxiety. And it can literally just be anxiety. Like that's an answer of itself, you know? And so I relate to that so much. And I think it's very common with people with OCD. I'm sure you've heard about this a lot in your practice with people who come in and they're like, I've had too good of a day. I feel too good. Something's up.
Yes, I mean, it's jarring, right? When you think about why, I think about just your brain being quiet when you're so used to the thoughts that are so loud that are creating just a negative loop. And, and you're just so used to it. I mean, anyone listening who struggles with an anxiety disorder or even generalized anxiety, or maybe is feeling just like really overwhelmed at some point of their day, the thoughts of just the what ifs and and oh my gosh, don't do that, or what's the worst thing that could happen, right? This could happen. And it's really jarring when they're quiet, like they're really quiet for a long period of time. Um, but remember, the point of healing from anxiety isn't to rid yourself of the thoughts, right? We're not no human is expected to just get rid of the way that they think and have a lobotomy. I mean, that's not the goal of the healing process. The goal is to learn how to recognize the thoughts we have, which we have thousands and thousands of thoughts every day, and to understand that they're going to go and they're going to come back and they're going to be stronger and they're going to be weaker and they're just going to be there, and to learn how to sit with them and to observe them and understand that they're there and they don't have power, and you can look at them and you can imagine yourself kind of. I talk about this analogy all the time, where just imagine yourself standing next to a lake and or a river, and you're just looking at the lake from outside and you see thousands of fish swimming around, but imagine the fish are thoughts and you just see them swimming, and that's kind of your brain. You're observing them and you're like, oh, and some of them are a lot bigger, some of them are faster, some of them are slower, and you're just kind of, well, sometimes you reach in and you grab one and you just kind of throw it to the side, or you do something with it, or maybe you like hug it, right? Those are some really intense thoughts that, you try and reframe and you try and change. But really, if you just imagine yourself kind of outside of the thoughts a little bit, it takes away that attachment to them. So that can really help. But yeah, it can feel really weird. It just feels weird, right? And
Yeah.
now it's just weird. But I think it's practice. It's practice.
Hmm.
It's healing's a lifelong journey. So yeah.
I like that lake example. That's really good.
Yeah. Okay. My next one is about nocturnal panic attacks. So someone today had asked about waking up in the middle of the night and feeling really anxious and not being able to go back to sleep, or it takes them a long time, and waking up with either a panic attack or just waking up with really racing thoughts. Um, Again, can feel so scary, because sometimes that happens to people, and that's happened to me. I don't know if this has happened to you before, where you're not even having like a nightmare. It's not even, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, you literally just spring awake
You
and
literally just wake up and you
yeah.
feel like just a massive amount of anxiety, a wave of anxiety just comes over you. It's the worst way to wake up.
Oh my gosh. And in the middle of the night too,
Yeah.
when other people, like the rest of the world, is sleeping, so you feel so scared because you don't want to wake up other people, or you're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I don't want to, like, what if I have to go, get in the car and go somewhere to get help, or what am I going to do? I think that's a really
Yeah.
scary thought for people when they do in the middle of the night. um One thing I do want to mention is um we have a couple good episodes to listen to if you want to listen to more about nocturnal panic attacks. So, episode 70 is sleep anxiety, what helps and what doesn't. And we talk a lot about nocturnal panic attacks in that episode. So, go check out episode 70 um, for more in depth on this topic. But the one thing I will say that's going to be really helpful. Now, this is going to be different for everybody, okay? But some suggestions would be to get up and get out of your bed and actually go and get a drink of water, take a sip of water. Make sure it's cold. Cold water is really helpful. Maybe take some ice, put it on the back of your neck, put it under your ears. That helps stimulate the vagus nerve, which really helps calm down the nervous system. Or put the ice cubes on your wrist. If you have an ice pack, maybe put it on your forehead. That can just really help ground you, but changing your environment can be really helpful. And so, not necessarily like turning on the TV or anything, that might help people. That's fine too, if it does. Um, but maybe just putting on some calming music, or sitting on your couch instead of your bed, and letting your nervous system just calm again before you go back into the sleep environment. And sleep environment's huge too. You just want to make sure, like, is there light in the room? What's the temperature of the room? What's the sound in the room? So using all of those senses, we talk a lot about using your senses to help ground yourself too. So a lot of times some restorative yoga can be really helpful. There's um, if you really are struggling, there are some really great videos on YouTube that are short, like 2 to 5 minutes, that can be really helpful for stretching and getting the body into the mode of really just in that state of balance again, which is called homeostasis. So those would just be some of my suggestions. Do you have any?
I like what you said about sleep hygiene, just having an environment that is so comfortable to you and safe, creating a safe place in your bed, in your room, having things you can utilize. If you're, say, you're having a lot of nocturnal panic attacks, maybe in your nightstand next to you, just having some things you can go to that help you. I know that there's these Therabody makes them and they're called smart goggles. And they also just made a sleep mask, but it actually has white noise and like vibration in the mask. And that can be just distracting in the moment to help you just relax and go back into a good state of mind. My brother actually recommended the sleep. I actually like not uses, but I like looked at it the other day and it was really cool. I have the smart goggles, which are a little thicker, but it can just relax you. Like anything that relaxes you, keep it in your nightstand, have it as your go-to, and then, like it always does, it'll pass. It always passes.
100%. Yeah, that's huge. Reminding yourself of that. But yeah,
I've been here. I've felt this. I'm safe. All those affirmations, like bringing them to the forefront of your mind, even when it's super scary and you don't believe it. Reminding yourself. I know it helps me a lot. It's like I've felt this before. I know what this is. I've dealt with this. I'll deal with it again, and this will pass.
love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So, which actually leads into the next question. I get this one a lot. Have you ever passed out? I have, and now I'm so scared every day.
Mm-hmm.
There, there's a thing with anxiety, and yes, I have passed out, and so I understand how traumatic it is. It's a very, very traumatic experience. You literally need to log it with traumatic experiences because it's valid. It's very valid. It's a you go out, right? And then you wake up and you're confused. And when you struggle with anxiety, that's huge because you have this constant fear and looping thought of it's gonna happen again. And you gotta take that looping thought and you have to say, what can I control? And what do I need to let go of? And if you keep in that looping thought of like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen again, and you live there, you're going to live in fear every single day of your life. But if you say, I passed out, I'm okay, I'm here, I'm alive, it happened, I'm going to go get the tests I need done and checked out. If they say I'm okay and it was just an episode, say I was dehydrated, I overworked myself, etc., etc., taking those steps of like, okay, I'm gonna focus on electrolytes, I'm gonna focus on water, I'm gonna do all those things, I'm gonna take care of myself, but I'm gonna let go of that fear of passing out. Because if I live in that fear, I'm gonna feel dizzy every day, I'm gonna feel lightheaded every day, and I'm gonna just live in it. And honestly, you'll just live in it and you probably won't pass out again, because I did this for a whole freaking year, guys. I was just so anxious about it happening again that I would literally make myself lightheaded, because the more you think about a symptom, truly the more you feel it. And so I would get dizzy and feel weird, and it wasn't until I literally let it go, I let that experience go, and I go, okay, pass out. Like I literally challenged my body, please pass out, show me you can pass out, because you can't make yourself pass out. Anxiety can make you feel like you're gonna pass out, but how many times when you felt like you're gonna pass out from anxiety, from being anxious, have you actually passed out? Because when you're anxious, your blood pressure actually goes up. And when your blood pressure goes up, it is impossible to pass out. You probably passed out from some episode, if your menstrual cycle,
Mm-hmm.
dehydration, overworking in the heat, except like something like that, right? So you literally just have to get to I forgot what they call it. It's an acceptance. What is it? There's a technique. Do you know what it is? It's acceptance
What?
something.
A what?
It's
For,
acceptance
but what is it? What is describe it?
for with like you
You're
have to literally just accept what is and release the fear. There's a type of There's a type of technique I've read about it. I read about it in the past when I was struggling about it,
Okay.
and it really helped me. And it was just accepting what is
Yeah.
and releasing the fear, accepting that I've passed out, accepting that trauma, and releasing the fear that it holds over me, because I can't control that. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot control that. So I literally have to accept it for what it is and release everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's so important because you can really, really, really loop and waste so much time. Trust me, I've done it. I've been there. Don't be like me. Learn from me. And I haven't passed out since. So,
That's great.
and I also didn't used to drink any electrolytes, like ever, guys. And some people, my doctor literally said this, some people need more than others. Like, that's just life. And so I know, Allison, we've gotten sent Element a lot. I love Element because it has high sodium. I
Yeah.
have low blood pressure. So I need that sodium more, especially when I sweat a lot. My sweat is super salty. I'm a very salty sweater. So I need to up my sodium. I know that
Mm.
about myself. But back in the day, I didn't drink any electrolytes. I didn't know you can't replenish your body with just water. Like, you can't. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of people think, oh, I drink so much water, I'm not dehydrated. And it's like, no, you are, because you're not replenishing those minerals in your body. And we don't educate people enough on that. That's why it's so important. Like, even when I fill up my water bottle before the gym, I even put like some special salt to remineralize my water even more. So highly recommend that.
Totally. And I will say what's interesting when you mentioned element, I like remember thinking that when these hydration types of powders or drinks came out, like Liquid IV, Element, there's a bunch other ones now. Um, it was, I don't even know how long ago it was, but I do remember that I was excited to use them when I had maybe like one too many glasses of wine the night before. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is great. It kind of hydrates you when you're a little hungover. And oh, this is nice. It's like, and it really did help. Of course, I'm not drinking as I probably could have really used them in my 20s. But I, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, these are amazing. And now I actually drink them every day.
Yeah.
And I started, I think, a year or two ago, where they're just so good. They make me feel so good every day, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just good for you. You don't have to have a reason to
No,
to drink them.
our bodies need them, and some people need them more than others. And I think that some people who started drinking, I don't know if this was the same for you, but they felt almost better than they've ever felt because they didn't realize they were chronically dehydrated. And that's not
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, I drink a lot of water. It's replenishing those electrolytes within your body. I mean, when they go and take your blood at the doctor, they're checking every time they take your blood for a physical, they're checking your CBC, which includes all your electrolytes. So
Mm.
it's very important. I mean, especially if you even just go on walks. I mean, you're still excreting from the body. And honestly, we're in this trend and this thing in our, if you're on TikTok or social media, drink a gallon of water a day, right? Well, some people, they do that and you don't realize you're pushing minerals out of your body if you're just drinking water. Like, you're pushing so much sodium, potassium, all those things, magnesium, out of your body. You're excreting it all. So you actually need more
Mm.
if you're overdoing the water. And especially because water used to be, this is probably for a lot of other people, water used to be like a safety thing for me because I feared passing out. So I would always have a water bottle with me. And so I would drink a lot of water, but I wasn't replenishing. You too? Yeah, I wasn't replenishing
I
any of
still
those
do drink so
electrolytes.
much water, but
Yeah.
but I also drink the electrolytes now. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't recommend it enough. An Element is definitely, it's a pricey one, but it is the quality. And if you have low blood pressure, I highly recommend Element.
I'm pretty sure we have a code.
We do. I think it's the
Can you
Anxiety Chicks. Let me
find it?
look.
Okay, it's probably Anxiety Chicks. If you guys go to element.com, I think you can get, I don't know, find the code and stuff. Um, we have so many codes. I wish we had them off the top of our head, but sometimes we talk about this. Um, yes, and also just to piggyback,
Oh my gosh,
any.
they're our ad this week. How funny.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually, you can get your free Element sample pack with any purchase at which is lmnt.com/chicks. I also like those new sparkling electrolyte waters. They're so tasty.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you
We'll put
tried
the
those?
element we'll put the element link in our show notes too for you guys.
Yeah,
I haven't yet. No. Oh wait,
they're good.
yes.
The
Yes. Oh my
cans.
gosh. No, I did the cans. Yes.
Mm-hmm. My whole
Which one
family
did
loves them.
I like the
Black cherry
best?
is my favorite.
No. No. What was the
No,
was it orange? It was
grapefruit.
maybe it was a grapefruit. Yes,
There
the
was citrus,
grapefruit.
grapefruit, black
The
cherry,
grapefruit.
and grapefruit. Yeah,
The
watermelon.
grape.
I don't like the watermelon.
No. The grapefruit and the citrus. But those,
Yeah.
which doesn't surprise me. Black cherry anything, I hate. I don't like
See,
black cherry
watermelon,
anything.
anything I hate.
So it's just a preference of what I actually, whatever flavor of black cherry I don't like. Um, okay, that's amazing. Okay. So also I was going to say about Element and just those hydration drinks. It can be really helpful, as we were talking before, about people that might have nocturnal panic attacks or trouble sleeping. It really helps regulate your sleep, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it gives you minerals and supplements that your body needs that might be missing.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, let me answer my last question here. Here's my handy dandy list for anyone watching on YouTube. I'm going to need readers soon, by the way, like
No.
glasses. So good
No,
luck,
not.
Taylor, when you're in the next 15 years, because I am. I also am going to need them, I think, sooner than a lot of people, because I had laser eye surgery. And apparently, when you have laser eye surgery, you need readers like 10 years before normal people do. So whatever, we'll see. Sounds like I shouldn't. Sounds like it should do the opposite, but whatever. Okay. So someone asked again today, great question about OCD. And they said, my OCD is getting worse. I think they said they were doing a lot better and with their compulsions, but something had just been
A stressful
overwhelming.
life event. Yeah.
Yeah, like a stressful life event. There's something that happened that's overwhelming, and they could see their symptoms increase. And they wanted to make sure they didn't go into the full rabbit hole of their disorder when it first started, and how can they kind of help themselves just and get a hold of it before it kind of got out of control again. And so this is going to be hard for me to just say, here's the one thing you can do, because just like generalized anxiety, OCD, there's a lot of different types of OCD. And so what works for someone might not work, but I'm going to give some suggestions that generally could help you. Well, the first suggestion is to listen to episode 160 of our podcast, Do You Struggle with OCD, with Kimberly Quinlan. She is an OCD expert. You guys might follow her. I think her handle on Instagram is Your Anxiety Toolkit. Of course, I love that one. And so episode 160, listen to that. And I think there's really, really great information on that episode about OCD. So some of the suggestions I have would be to recognize, and we talked about this a couple of questions ago. I want you to try and recognize what thoughts are your intrusive thoughts, right? So if you're kind of if you've done the work in therapy for OCD, whether you've gone to ERP therapist or you've gone to CBT therapist, then you probably are familiar with labeling your thoughts and which ones are intrusive and which ones are not really a reflection of reality, right? So you might want to just make sure that you're asking yourself, okay, is this my OCD talking? And if it is, okay, what are the tools that I have? What are the tools that I learned that can really help, help you detach from those, right? And recognize, okay, what did I learn that when I can label an intrusive thought and I know it's my OCD, then how do I challenge that thought, right? What's the evidence I have for that? If this is my OCD and it's making me scared, is it based in reality or not? What can my logical brain say right now, right? And that's always going to be my rational part of my brain when I think logically, right? Am I really in danger right now? If it's something, I just experienced this pretty big life stressor, and I know factually that my anxiety is going to feel way more out of control during these moments in my life, right? So logically, yeah, I'm going to be like, my brain's going to kind of be like firing on all cylinders at this point. So trying to distinguish between those thoughts, and labeling the ones that are intrusive. Another thing that's really important is to be compassionate with yourself, right? You need to talk to yourself the way that you would a best friend or someone you love, right? So instead of those critical thoughts that are going to literally fill your brain with, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's coming back again. I just had this under control. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm so dumb. This is so stupid. Just like all these things, you have to be compassionate with yourself, right? Like, this isn't a perfect science. You have to validate your feelings and say, it's okay to feel this way. I'm doing my best. I know I'm just scared and life seems overwhelming right now. And maybe I had a couple compulsions come back, but I know that I've worked on it before. I've got through it and I'm going to be able to handle it. And maybe I need to schedule, a couple therapy sessions more than I have lately, right? Maybe that'll help me to trying to get back into the routine of the work that I've done, right? Um, and also try and kind of like think about your daily life, right? And what your daily routine looks like lately, and if that life stressor has influenced your daily routine, and kind of if you can, put back in some of those healthy, mindful, nutritional daily routines that helps you. Maybe it's moving your body. I always say moving your body is huge. So that should be a part of anyone's toolkit, is movement. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's gymming it, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's Pilates, maybe it's Tai Chi, maybe it's just stretching in front of your TV or walking in place for 5 minutes. They have these awesome, by the way, YouTube videos that I actually do now because I want to get my 10,000 steps in. And when I only have like 8,000 and it's like 6 o'clock and I know, it's 20 degrees out and I don't feel like going to the gym, I'll just do one of these videos for 10 minutes and it's just following people walking. But I'll put like a show on in the background, and it's just, okay, I got my other steps in, just walk in place, honestly. um yeah, so I would say really just practicing those steps and remembering that some of the affirmations, some of the self-compassion statements are going to be huge. Maybe you write them down, you put them on a sticky note on your fridge, you say them out loud to yourself every day. Something like, this is a really tough moment, but this doesn't define me, right? This is kind of a wave. I'm going to ride this wave. I know it'll pass. If something feels overwhelming now, I know it's going to pass. And all the things you said too in the last question.
I was about to say that goes into my quote of the day, actually.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
We always wrap it together.
I love
It goes
that.
on. Like, it always goes on. I think about the hardest things I've been through in my life, and I'm like, you're still here. Like, it always goes on. Life always continues. There's always another second, another day, another time to start new. Even when you just said the thing about routine, like, it's okay to start over today. Like, say you're like, oh, but Allison, like, I just haven't been I haven't been moving my body. I haven't been eating healthy. I haven't been doing all these things. Like, I'm so behind. I'm such a failure. Instead of like saying all those things to yourself, like, it's okay to start today. It's okay to literally pick up all the pieces around you and rebuild from brick one. Like, it's okay. It's okay if you started today and you have to start over again tomorrow. Like, it's okay. You can start over any day.
I love that. Well, and that kind of goes into my healing tip of the week, because this might be something new for people listening that they've never tried before. And maybe this is something you want to implement into your routine. But I'm going to suggest that you try and take mindful pauses throughout your day. And what this looks like is, whether you're having a stressful day or maybe you're having an okay day, it doesn't matter. I want you to try and make this a habit, right? And the more that you do it, the more it just becomes a habit and the more you don't have to think about doing it. And I basically want you to you can maybe put an alert on your phone like 3 times a day to just pause and think of one positive moment or positive connection that you had recently, and maybe that day specifically, right? So it's called a mindful pause. And it's called a mindful pause because you're intentionally doing it. And this is what changes the brain. So maybe you put mindful pause in your like alert on your phone, and you just put mindful pause 3 times a day. And what that means is you, right at that, when it comes up for you, you take a pause, think of some positive connections or interactions that you had that day, and reflect on it, and then you move on. So you're very mindful about those connections and those positive moments that you actually have. And that's part of gratitude. And that'll give you a
Yeah,
really good first step into a gratitude practice.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being intentional, taking the pause intentionally. Not saying, oh, I'm going to practice gratitude. I'm going to practice you literally having that intention of I'm going to
Yes.
pause. I
Yeah.
love that.
Mindful pause.
Awesome. Well,
Okay.
next
Great.
week we have a guest and very looking forward to it.
I'm too. Great episode. I really love our Q&As. All right, you guys, we will see you live next Wednesday at 3:00 on the gram. And episode drops this Saturday. So every Saturday, please review and subscribe and follow the Anxiety Chicks and head over to theanxietyhealer.com. Anything else that you want to know? Any other resources you need? And grab my books, guys. It's good, but we love you. Talk to you later.
Bye.